This episode of Chew Quieter is sponsored by liftedforless.com. Liftedforless.com is your one-stop online marketplace for top quality parts and accessories for your Jeep, Bronco, or truck, carrying great brands like Rockcrawler Suspension, Savvy Offroad, Rigid Industries, and many more. With a wide range of products designed to enhance your vehicle, trust liftedforless.com to provide you with the best in the industry. And Rub One, revolutionizing the way you wash and protect your Jeep, truck, and side-by-side. Easy to use products designed to give your ride that perfect finish, whether you're on the streets or on the trails. With optional low pressure or high pressure foam cannons, Rub One has you covered. Get yours now at rub-one.com.
All right, you guys, podcast time.
Chew. It's quieter.
Fucking podcasting right now.
Chew Quieter.
And now, to the podcast studio.
Hello, everyone. We are back. It is Chew Quieter, and today we have a special guest, our good friend Gerald Lee. How are you, sir?
Awesome, guys. Good to see you both.
You too, Gerald.
Good to see you, man. Yeah, last time I saw you was at the Goldstein wedding, and we had quite a few drinks.
Oh yeah, that was fun. That was actually
that was
actually a very cool wedding.
It was.
You know, that little small town. I mean, it was fun.
Yeah. Met your wife finally.
Yeah, the better half.
Yeah, the better half.
She keeps him in line, that's for sure.
That's
Yeah, for
absolutely
sure.
right. So she's
Although
in
that
Japan
weekend-
right now.
That weekend
What's
though,
that?
that weekend though, she was part of the party.
You know, she is a party animal. She's a 90-pound party animal, and I usually end up having to carry her around. She gets all wasted. She can't hold her liquor, but so I end up having to carry her. You know, it's like I'm not that strong any longer, so I can't do it much. So I tell her you're gonna have to be on your own now.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of people that weekend that was handling their liquor. I was one of them.
Oh God,
That's the whole
good
point of it.
alcohol though. It's a good fun. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, the first night you get there and right away we're drinking the good stuff.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Popped in that bar. It's like, hey, this is really fun.
Yeah, I mean, they pretty much gave us the run of the bar. I mean, they stayed open a little bit, but they're like, you want more ice? We'll give you more ice. But that's all we really needed was the ice.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, it was a good time. So, I've been really excited getting you onto the show because there's a lot of things that I've been wanting to ask you. And there's a lot of things that I don't think people really know about you. For one is you used to be a child actor.
Oh, come on. Yes. So
This is the one.
I grew up in
This is what I really wanted to talk to you about, to be honest with you.
So I grew up in Hollywood, California, and my dad was an architect, and we lived right below the Hollywood sign. And one of our neighbors, Buck Pennington, he was a producer and director for Mattel Toys, and him and his daughter and I were really good friends. We would play, you know, when we were little kids, and there was, you know, a few of us would all get together and play every day. And so when I finally got to age where I could actually talk to somebody, he's like, "Okay, you're going to work with me." And so then I would go to work with him. He had his little MGB or MG convertible, and we'd drive to the studios, and we'd go to work every day. So I was, you know, well, that's what I did. That was my job.
Was your job just to like R&D the toys, or were you actually just
No,
do
actually, so
commercials?
we would R&D the toys on set. I mean, Mattel would give us boxes and boxes of toys, and the crew would set them all up, and then it was myself and another kid. We'd go in there and tell them, well, that's not how these cars work. You know, we had to actually show them, the adults, how to use the Hot Wheel cars and how they actually worked. You know, and so we had, you know, all the new latest greatest Hot Wheels at the time, and I always end up taking all of it home with me. You know, so when we finished, we took all the Hot Wheels home. You know, big giant boxes for it. So I had it for 40 years, right? So my mom decides to give it all away. And I had like all prototype Hot Wheels cars, and I mean all the stuff that's worth millions of dollars now. I had it in my possession, and he gave it all away. It's like,
Damn.
Is that when you put her into what, a home, or did you just forgive
I
her?
needed to do that much earlier. My sister's an angel, and she ended up taking care of her, so it was all good.
Yeah.
So did you do anything else like commercials, or did you do any
So I did a
TV
lot of
shows or anything?
Mattel commercials. I did a lot of Planner Peanuts commercials. I was the voice of Planner Peanuts for almost 4 years.
Really?
And then I did a couple soap operas, Bright Promise and one other I can't remember. So I did
Was
two
it All My
soap
Children?
opera. No, it wasn't one of the. It was Bright Promise, which is no longer there, but it was one of the ones that we would have seen. I didn't care. I was go out there and play fun, have fun. We had tutors on at the studio, so by the time I was 12, I was already out of high school. So when I went to high school at Hollywood High School, I had already got my GE or GED. I'd already gotten that by the time I got a freshman in high school. So all I did was take electives, so I could hang out hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
And my elective was metal shop, and my teacher, Mr. Gillenswan, I would basically work on his sand rails 5 days a week. And so whenever he needed to work on a sand rail, hey, Jerry, you're going to go work on the sand rail today. Oh, okay. So I did that for 3 years, work on Volkswagen powered sand rails.
It's crazy.
So that was your first hands-on.
You have to look up some of those episodes, Gabe.
Oh, I'm going to, trust me. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to YouTube that stuff.
Yeah. So the sand rails was your first hands-on with automotive work then?
Yeah. So I would always repair his sand rails and actually everything except for the transmission work I would do. It's just all bug related stuff, And so, I was growing up in Hollywood on the recycler, you could buy bugs for $100 a piece all day long. Rag tops and everything for $150. And every weekend I'd go out and buy one and tear it all up, make a Baja bug out of it or whatever, and cut it all up, put a new motor in it, go out to the desert, thrash it. If it broke it, I left it. if we could trailer or get it back, we put a new motor in the next weekend. So that's kind of fun we had when we were kids, I think there was I forget the name of that store. Was it not Dick CPEC, but it was one of the big off-road shops on Sepulveda Boulevard in the Valley. We'd go out there and buy those, big Mickey Thompson tires. No, it was there was the big off-road store at the time, and I thought Dick CPEC, but it was one of those guys. And we would go out there, and then my brother's shop. My brother was a factory Ford mechanic for years, and then he opened his own shop, and that specialized in Panteras because he was a Ford at Mayberry Lincoln Mercury. He was the Pantera specialist, and then when they stopped selling Panteras, he didn't need to be there, so he opened his own shop, and he serviced and maintained, most of the Panteras in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And so I'd go there and work on those things, at 15 years old and had fun,
So when did you start? When was your first year in college?
My first year in college was in 1979.
Oh, I was 2.
Yeah, so I graduated high school in 75. I went to Europe for a couple of years. And then
45 years ago.
Yeah, right? Fucking hey. And then I worked for Merv Griffin Studios for a couple of years. We would do as a grip, and but then So then I went to college, and I was interning as my undergrad degree was urban and regional planning. My father was an architect. I couldn't get in the architecture program, but I could get into the urban and regional planning program. So I did it, and I got it, and I got the degree. And I was interning for the city of West Covina in the redevelopment agency. Okay. And so it's like, then my boss says, well, do a budget chart of all the numbers for all the people here. So I'm looking at this chart, right? And it has every person and how much they make. And I'm like, okay, this guy makes $23,000. The boss makes $72,000. And I'm thinking, when I worked at Merv Griffin, I was bringing home $2,500 a week take-home pay. Right? So,
wow,
it's like $150,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, I make twice as much as my boss right now, 2 years ago. So I was like, well, I think I'm going to do something else.
Yeah.
So
plus, let's face it, West Covina is not really the place you want to work in, anyways.
No, well, because I went to Cal Poly Pomona as my undergrad, and so while I was doing my undergrad, I learned how to program the Cyber 360 mainframe computer, and at the time, census data was only available on machine-readable tapes. And so I wrote and there was no interactive terminals yet either. It was all punch cards, right? That's how fucking old I am. So I wrote the programs to extract the census data, 1970 census data from the machine tapes. And I was able to write the code so that I could then ASCII it over to my Apple I computer that I had built. And with the Apple I computer, I was able to put it in Excel or VisiCalc at the time and create the formats for the census data for the city. Now, at the time, you could not purchase that census data for less than a couple $100,000. The city would have to spend out a couple $100,000 to buy that data because no one else was doing it. Lo and behold, some damn kid figured out how to get the data off the computer. And so I was able to do that, and I ended up doing, I don't know, about 49 cities bought the data from me for $20,000 a pop.
Wow.
So I made my $1 million right away, right? And so the company that actually will supply the data to all the cities says, hey, we're going to give you $1 million for your company. And I'm like, well, okay, but I just made that, the last 6 months. And they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll get back to you. So about a week later, they came back, okay, we're going to give you $5 million right now. And it's like, oh, And so when looking at mainframe computers at the time, interactive terminals were just coming online. So that meant that within a year's time, that data is going to be available to everybody. But right now it's not. So I'm like, okay, well, if I've had to work my ass off or I make $5 million, let's take the $5 million. And that's what kind of started me.
How large were those files?
Free.
No, but how large were they?
Oh. They're not very large because a floppy disk on an Apple I was, 200 kilobytes?
Right.
And 2 or 3 of them fit on a floppy disk.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was easy. Once I set up the VisiCalc to set the report, and I downloaded the data for whatever census tracts and whatever cities I needed, every city needed it because so they could determine what their federal funding was through the census tracts. They could see how much they actually going to get. And now they were getting it real time, versus waiting a year and $200,000 to get it. Well, some cities only got $200,000 in federal funds. Well, a lot of cities, they made lots of money by the federal funding of the programs.
I always thought it was by the taxpayer in the city, the taxpayer funded stuff like that.
So originally, the federal funding for low-income housing, low-income housing, food stamps, and stuff, they were all determined through the census data. And that's why we had census data. And so I was able to, that's all the data that I was extracting was through all the census data. And that's how they were able to, we were able to actually get the data they needed so that they could prove to the federal government, hey, we've got, 30,000 people that make under, $8,000 a year. We need, food stamps. We need Medicare. We need all the federal funded programs,
It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was in a really unique position because at the time, no one really understood the mainframe computers and redevelopment or community development. There was nobody like that. And so I had given lots of seminars on the whole thing to do it. So it was kind of cool.
That's so wild. I mean, you go from working on the Merv Griffin show, working with Mattel,
all right,
to just pretty much, I don't want to say hacking the computer, but I mean,
it was
pretty
hacking
much,
it. I was hacking.
Yeah.
And then it got really wild after that. I couldn't start. So, Planners of Technologies was the company I started and I had to sell to SPSS. And so that I had to start another company that was not involved in that type of information. You got your 5-year non-compete. So right. I started Advanced Network Consulting. And Advanced Network Consulting was established right before local area networks started to take place. And so actually I went to work for Great Western Bank for a little over a year to develop their PC program because we had 11,000 host-based devices, IBMs, and then out of the 7,000 people, we had 330 PCs, just IBM PC XTs. Mm-hmm. So at the time, there was really no way to connect them to the mainframe or be able to talk to each other. There was no such thing as Ethernet or Token Ring or ArcNet. There was a thing called OmniNet that Banyan Service was using. And so at the time I was implementing brand new Token Ring networks and brand new Ethernet networks. And the technology was really advancing quickly. And I had learned a lot about routers and switches way before anybody had any idea what they were. I had a good friend at Cabletron.
Were they using 30-pin ribbons back then? Something like that?
No. So Ethernet was the big giant RG59 cable or RG1 right. cable. That big, thick cable that you tapped into. So that was a long line Ethernet cable, multi-tap. And then the other ones that was OmniNet. It was a one pair system that had little pins that you plugged into the back computer, and it kind of worked. And then there was ArcNet. And ArcNet was a coaxial-based network as well that plugged into little small hubs. So those were the things that were really, that at the time when I started at Great Western Bank, was available. Then I got hooked up with Cabletron, and they started to make the predecessor to 10BASE-T, which was twisted pair RJ45 cabling. So once they did that, it's like, okay, well, we need to wire the campus and we need to implement all the branches. And so, in the couple of years that I worked at Great Western Bank, I was able to teach them how to locally network 720 branches. And so what happened is I did the first 20 branches in Washington State. I went up there and did the installations myself and found out that IBM doesn't know how to install Token Ring, for one, and two, you don't know how to set up your T1 lines. And so these are all kind of things that I had learned early. I had a pretty good grasp of it at the time. And so when I went up to Washington State, I contracted IBM to wire up all the branches. There was 20 something branches up there. And I get up there with all the equipment, the hubs and the network servers and all the PCs, and I start installing them all, get them all in, plug everything in, and nothing fucking works. It's like, what the hell? So I'm up here, I'm scratching my head, so I'm looking at taking apart all the connectors now, because I've got down all the PCs are working, everything on my bench works. I start taking the wiring to get apart, and Token Ring was a big 4-pin connector about this big that had 4 wires in it, and there was a green, orange, black, and red cables. There are 4 cables, and on the caps there's a orange, black, and green and red dot. Well, whoever put all these connectors in didn't put any of those color codes to match the wires together. So I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta rewire every single connector. I have no idea. Somebody must have been colorblind, but I had to rewire every single connector. So, but
Holy
once
shit.
I got it, then I got it going, and then the downside was the fractional T1s that all the branches had were not enough speed for a low point network. But that was a different story. So I get back to my corporate headquarters in Chatsworth, and the boss goes, hey, how did everything go? I go, well, Les, you're never going to get this done without me doing it all. And he goes, why? I still said, because IBM don't know what the hell they're doing when it comes to wiring. I'm going to need to wire all 700 branches. He says, you're going to have to hire me as a contractor, and I will do every single branch. And I already know all the PCs. I know everything that you need to have done. But I'm going to have to put together a team to do it. It's either you can hire those people now, and I can train them, but I prefer not to. I prefer to make my own money, Is okay, we'll hire you. So for the next 2 years, Advanced Network Consulting wired and built all Great Western banks. Automated all of them into PCs.
Crazy.
So, yeah, that was a fun time. I mean, technology at the time, wiring was like voodoo magic, and no one knew what the hell to do, and it's kind of pretty secret. And the telephone guys didn't know how to do it, and there was really no data guys at the time, And now it's a commodity, so so that's when I started Advanced Network Consulting, and then I merged with Briggs Electric to become Briggs Datacom. And at the time, we only could go into large buildings construction if you were a union company. Briggs was a union company. And so that's why I merged with them. And actually, Todd Perry, the son of the owner, and I we rode our bicycles everywhere. I mean, we did 300-400 miles a week, and we're always on the bike discussing business and discussing family and friends. And so that's when we merged with Briggs Datacom, and then they built that into a huge company. And then my partner dies, 5 years ago on me. I was like, okay, great. Wow. I don't want to run this shit by myself anymore. So we we sold it off, and I retired.
I didn't know you were still doing that 5 years ago.
5 years.
I thought you already had retired.
No, I really wasn't doing it 5 years.
Ever since I've known you, I don't think I thought you did any work.
I was just collecting a paycheck. I had developed the teams that could do everything. I didn't need to be there any longer. I was just collecting my paychecks.
Well, that's the whole point.
There was no whole point of me being there any longer, and because I've always trained people to replace me. That has always been my goal, so that they can take over the business. And my own downfall is I didn't create any rainmakers. That's always the hardest thing to do, because a rainmaker created his own business.
Yeah.
And I did not create any rainmakers. That was my fault. Good project managers, supervisors, managers, all of them were top notch, 100%. But I did not leave them with some rainmakers.
Mm-hmm. And your kids had no interest in getting into that business?
None whatsoever. So both my daughters work for Host. Yeah, both my daughters work for Host. They schedule traveling nurses throughout the world. And then my son, I don't know what he's doing nowadays. I have no idea.
You think that's good or bad that they didn't get involved with the business?
I don't think they would have liked the hours that you have to put into it, and it's that's really a man's job. And though my right hand woman was a Vietnamese girl, that she was absolutely fantastic. She knew it all. She made it all, but my girls had no interest.
Mm-hmm. It's probably better than, because why suffer through something that you don't like?
Oh, absolutely. And that's kind of how I felt. Michael was Savvy. He didn't like it, so I'm glad he did something else. So that's great for him.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Savvy, when did that get started? I mean, because I know at first you started just riding dirt bikes in the hills, and as you said before, you were building sand rails. But how did you start Savvy? So
my friend John Butler decided to buy 2 Jeeps in 2003. He bought 2 because he had to buy, he wanted 1, but the guy would only sell him 2. So when he brought him home, his wife goes, well, how come we got 2 Jeeps? Oh no, that's Jerry's Jeep. Okay. I got me a CJ5 with a V8 in it. I'm like, this is the coolest shit ever. Because we always did bugs. We had Baja bugs and motorcycles, trials bikes and everything. But it's like, wow, this is kind of cool. This 4-wheel drive stuff. I don't get stuck as much. And we started building parts and, starting to go to Johnson Valley and trying to negotiate the trails out there. And, just some dumb kids don't know what the hell they're doing out there breaking this shit all up in Johnson Valley. And that started in 2008. And, we've been wheeling pretty hard for a few years. And then I met John Curry, and, John Curry always had badass shit. I mean, that guy is one of my mentors when it comes to building off-road vehicles. That guy knows more stuff than most people. He's forgotten more stuff than most people know. His attention to detail and steering and suspension, it's not comparable to anybody else. I mean, the stuff that he builds is just unbelievable. Like his XJ they built for Baja, right? Well, that damn XJ has been winning for 30 years, 40 years. Yeah. And so like when we built the LJ that we had, that thing was so fast. And then the guy who bought it from us promptly cut it in half and destroyed it. Yeah, that thing was so fast. Because I just remember one day we were out pre-running during Thanksgiving. And there was a bunch of 4,400 cars and some 4,800 cars and 4,500 cars. We had about 10 guys out there. And they're like, well, let's go run last year's trail. So, all right. So John and I said, okay, follow us. We go this way. We were driving, and we get back onto, we go over Fisher Mountain, come back down like Jackhammer. We came down Jackhammer. We got to the bottom. I was like, oh, where's everybody? We waited for like an hour before the rest of the guys got there. I'm like, where the hell have you guys been? We're on 35-inch tires. I mean, John is an incredible driver. His vision of the trail is so far ahead of where he is currently. I mean, he sees 40 yards ahead of him, and he knows the line he's going to take well in advance. And I've never seen anybody do stuff like that. I mean, he's an amazing off-road wizard.
So I'm kind of amazed that your first off-road trail was Johnson Valley and not Azusa Canyon.
I didn't even know what Azusa Canyon until after like the 5th year at Johnson Valley.
Wow.
I just went straight to freaking Johnson Valley because, hey, that's supposed to play the place where it's going to be fun. All right, let's go. And then, then I met Blake Johnson. What's that?
How did you find out about Johnson Valley?
Pirate. Oh yeah, Pirate. Yeah. I was pro Villa Gear on Pirate, and I read it's like, oh, that place is the greatest shit ever. It's like, okay, well, let's go over there. And we had a great time there. And I met Blaine Johnson, and he was instrumental in building a lot of the beginning Savvy parts, the aluminum stuff. I mean, the guy's a wizard on TJs and Jeeps in general. Like him and John are both my mentors when it comes to this stuff. They know so much, and it was really fun wheeling with them and learning from them both. It's hard to duplicate the experience that those men have. How you actually learn how to wheel with guys like that. It's. I felt really lucky to be able to do that.
So 2008,
we feel lucky to go wheeling with all you older guys. It's pretty much
no
the same
kidding.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the
first time I was in your rig was Pritchett in Moab, and the first time I experienced just fucking balls out crazy shit was coming off of Pritchett. We're racing out. John, I think Johnny Rocha was in another. I can't remember what he was in, but we were racing. I'm like, holy fuck! And you're the whole time just talking to me, looking at me like, all right, you see this little ditch? This is how you attack this ditch. And I'm just like, holy fuck, man! I'm holding on. There's no seatbelt. I'm just like,
no, you had really seatbelts. I don't drive any car without seatbelts.
No,
God
we
damn
did.
it. But yeah, so that was always really a fun time. John Curry and I, we would balls out through from after, you dive down Pritchett all the way to the county road. That was always the most fun. And recently I've been doing it in the side-by-sides. Holy shit, is it fun. Because that Pro R, oh my God, I'm going to kill myself with that thing. It's so fast.
So 2008, you're out in Johnson Valley. And then at what point do you realize, I'm going to start an off-road company, manufacture parts?
Well, 2008, we started the company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So from 2003 to 2008, we were just having fun, learning what we needed to build and parts we need for our TJs at the time and LJs that we had. And that's where all the learning was between 2003 and 2008. So 5 years of learning to off-road, and then actually started to build parts. When we released the first product we introduced was the aluminum gas tank skid. You save 50 pounds on the back of the Jeep. Nothing, no one compares. That thing's lifetime warranted too, even though I don't have any anymore, but I am going to make more. The thing has been, I sold thousands of those damn things. I mean, a pallet a month of those friggin' gas tank skids would go out, and so when I price stuff for me. I didn't do corporate pricing where you got to make 300% on it, and I go out there. So it's like, hey, you know what? If I make $30 on this part, I'm happy. It's not a big deal. And so it's like, okay, if I make $100 on a gas tank kit, I'm really happy. I'm selling 50, 60 of them a month. I'm going to make $5 or $6 grand. I don't need the money because I have a successful electrical contracting company. I don't need this money, but it'll pay for itself and pay for the hobby. Right. So that's kind of where Savvy became, and then and then John Curry and I, we were in Moab at EJS, and that's when Dave Cole decided, we're going to talk about starting some classes, and Grandpa's Garage, we talked about it, and that's what started. That's like, well, John's like, well, we really need a class that we can show our parts. And that's why we built an LJ, because that was the parts that I built and the parts John Curry built. I mean, axles and suspension stuff that, Johnny joints and that type of stuff at the time that he was building, the anti-rocks and I built bumpers, armor and half doors and, that kind of crap. So it's like, well, yeah, let's go out, have fun. We're going to do it and go out and have fun. But that Jeep, it was a monster. I mean, we got a Hesco 4.7 stroker in it, put about 320 horsepower, not that much, but it was a lot for a Jeep.
And which class was this in, Gerald?
What's that? This is a 4600
class?
car.
Like
4600. The only 4600 to overall the EMC 2 years in a row. Only 4600. A stock class car.
Who was your driver for that one?
John Curry.
Okay.
Yeah, John Curry did that, and then we get to the class the next or second year. It's like all these guys have tube chassis in the freaking 4500 class. What the fuck? Goddamn, Larry's cheating his ass off, and it's like, and then Jesse Haynes got a fucking tube. I'm like, fuck it, we're gonna build a fucking 4500. That according to the rules. So it's a square tube frame. We had a square tube frame, and everything that's according to the rule books. And that 88 is just a class killer. I mean, it won everything, just about every single race it won, except for one where it broke upper link. And that was when Dan Fresh was driving. He was an hour ahead of everybody, but he broke on the Jeep hill. He was like 100 yards away from the finish line. and the upper link broke, and it dinged the starter, hit the starter, and shorted out the whole system.
No, fuck.
Yeah,
Wow.
so that was the only race
sucks.
that it didn't win, And that car
you still
overall,
have
what's that?
You still have a 4600 car still winning races today.
I know.
Like,
John
that car
Schaefer winning that damn car.
Oh, that car is
Oh
so
my
beat up.
God.
So beat up.
I built that car for my son, and my son decided. So this is an awesome story. So my son goes out and races the year and gets second in national championship.
Which year was this, Gerald?
2016, maybe 2016, 20. Let's see, 12, 14, 2016, I think. So we built him that car, and had terrible luck at the first King of the Hammers. He hit a giant rock and destroyed the steering. But the next few races, went out there and beat everybody's pants off on it with it. Did the desert race out up in Nevada, in North Nevada, and did a couple of other races. It was just a killer little car. And so my son gets second in national points. So Dave calls him up and, hey, Michael Lee, here you. And thank anybody. Oh, thanks, Dad. Thanks, Savvy. Thank you, Ultra 4. Thanks, everybody. And now I'm retired for Ultra 4. Dave called like, what? Okay. I'll take the mic back. It was awesome. It was totally awesome. So that was yeah, but the car had that year, and then it did really well in a lot of races.
Yeah.
When did Jesse get involved with Savvy and start racing for you?
So Jesse, let's see, we were both still with Falcon, and let's see, it went from John Curry and myself went into it. Brandon Curry won overall in it. And who was next? And then Jessie. Jessie then had her for 3 years. And she never overall though. But she did win the class every year, but she did never overall. Or maybe that's 2 years. 2 years. And then Dan Fresh did 2 years overall and 1 year regular.
So is that when Marty started working for you also, was when he left Falcon?
Yes.
Okay.
And then Marty came on board and super fun kid, very, very
I love
super
that guy.
hardworking guy. I mean, I love Marty. So
Yeah.
And then at that point I was like, well, I guess if I'm not in the cars anymore and I'm not getting paid to be in the cars anymore, I think it's time for me to stop racing. And that's when I stopped racing.
So that was 4 years ago you stopped racing.
I do my own
yeah?
racing now. What's that?
Was that 4 years ago you stopped racing?
Yeah, 3 or 4 years ago. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Doesn't
like
seem that
in this
long
year,
ago.
doesn't. It really doesn't. But it's all really been really good. I mean, like this King of the Hammers coming up, I'll be in Hawaii when King of the Hammers goes down. Actually,
Well, you don't have the compound anymore either, do you?
no, I sold it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I built a compound for the team, and then sold it to Brian Reed. But I mean, we had some really good times there, and the teams were really successful there, and so But that's what it takes if you want to be really successful at the Hammers. That's what it takes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So now you're
good
just
prep.
Now you're just road racing, right?
Road racing. I'm finishing off a couple of off-road vehicles. I've got a new LJ I'm finishing and putting together right now. I'm just waiting for the armor for it. Some company's building armor for it, but I never seen any parts.
Everyone's been waiting for some of those parts.
I'm hoping Will Perryman's listening. So Will is actually introducing all of the Savvy armor. Because if I build it, I can never move away from Savvy Offroad. My goal is to have them build everything, ship everything, support everything. That's something I don't want to do anymore. I was about to let Savvy, go into the wastebasket because I was doing it by myself. I didn't feel like doing it by myself anymore, But now, with Will and Jake, they're really energized me to build new vehicles again and bring new product to the market. So we've updated the LJ TJ lines a lot. We've done some really cool stuff to the bumpers and making some really cool tub rails. Because I used to make stainless steel tub rails. Those were very cool, but they cost a lot of money to make. But so now I've got some aluminum ones that are hidden fasteners and aluminum extrusions. That'll be pretty cool.
Nice.
So what do you like more then? Racing the Mustang or a Jeep?
Well, I've done Jeeps now for 17 years now. And so I've always had Mustangs. I've always had them in the garage, and we've been to done vintage Mustang racing with the Cobra Club for 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
So my same group of guys that we go out with 2 to 3 times a year. We go up there, we bring our motorhomes, we have our own garage at Willow Springs. We have the best food that humans can have. And, it's all really a good time, good friends and good food and fast cars and lots of alcohol normally at the end of the day, and it's just a really good time. So I actually like the environment of the off-road, the off-road, on-road cars, the Mustangs are getting faster and faster. And, our vintage Mustangs were fast, but then all my group of friends had vintage Mustangs, 65s and 66 fastbacks, GT350, GT350Rs, original GT350R Mustangs. And so I decided to build a modern car. And I built the first GT350 modern, Gen 6 Mustang. And I was usually one of the slowest guys with my vintage car. But I got that new car in there and I was murdering them. I mean, just absolutely murdering them. And it's like my lap times were 10 seconds faster than my ever fast times in my vintage car. So I went from a 136 to a 127s at Willow Springs.
That's a big gap too.
It's freaking huge. I was murdering them. So my friend Brian, he's like, let me drive that car. He gets in there and drives it, and they'll come back, and it's like his first lap was probably 6 seconds faster than his ever fastest time in his vintage car. First lap. Wow. So he comes in and says, I'm buying this car. I'm like, oh, okay. You're going to buy my car? Hey, Armando.
Hey, Armando.
So now all the guys have modern Mustangs now because they started this shit. So as we grow, we get faster cars, and that's kind of where we are.
You've started a trend, another trend.
That's what I do.
Trendsetter racing. There you go. That's going to be your new tag.
We like to be innovators, and we've always been that in terms of my whole life. I mean, being the innovator of infection control tents at hospitals. Okay, so we built 30 hospitals at Briggs Electric, Briggs Datacom. And to work in a hospital, you need a positive air pressure to keep the dust out of the rooms. All right. So we created these tubes, these 2x4 tubes that would go up to the ceiling and prevent dust from getting in the patient rooms, hallways, or any area. So we developed these cubes. They're infectious control cubes that had HEPA air filtration that would let you work at hospitals. So we invented that shit. Everybody has them now because you have to have them. Wow. But, that was stuff that we did. And, it's just, my whole life has been innovating and doing stuff, cars.
So
and
is there anything with cars or off-road vehicles that you have had ideas for it that you just haven't fully come to development?
No, I don't think so. It's like, always wanted off-road trucks, we build off-road trucks. I always want off-road cars, build off-road cars. Want fast cars, you build fast cars. It's something that we just do. When we have an idea, I just do it until I finish it. The only one I never finished was the red dot rock crawlers. I had two of them, and then I never got a chance to finish them. One Lauren Healy bought, and the other one Hoonigans bought. So I didn't get the chance to actually finish them off.
Mm-hmm. Do you see any gaps in innovation in off-road these days that you think you can fill?
No, I'm too old now. I don't have any ideals at all any longer. But I just want to go on fun. We'll get together and have a good time. We get some good food. But this whole camping thing, overlanding thing, it kind of struck me as interesting. We've been camping since we were like 15 years old, in our Volkswagens and stuff, and in our vans. But now it's overlanding, so whatever. But I don't see, lots of good ideas coming down the pike now. A lot of people are bringing out some good quality products, and I think if you stay in your lane and build a good quality product, people will follow you. You start doing all sorts of shit and making stuff that, you really don't know much about, you're not going to be successful.
Right. I think that's kind of the key for everything right now, right? Yep. We have a vice president that's trying to run for president. She doesn't know what the fuck she's doing.
That's for absolutely sure. We get some word salad, but otherwise that's all the word we're gonna get.
Yeah, no kidding. You showed me earlier your 1911 that you've had for forever. Yeah. We've been talking off air about guns, and you and I have talked about guns in person when we've gotten together. Is there any firearms right now that are on your list that you don't have yet?
So I stopped shooting really hard, 40 years ago, but the 1911, the Glock 19 that some gracious guy provided for me. I love that gun. I got the SIG for CCWing, and there's a couple of guns that I want, but I've never been into the ARs or anything like that. I mean, I have some long range rifles. I have Ruger #1 and a bunch of shotguns and stuff. Because right by my house is the Rahagi's skeet range, 25 station skeet facilities. It's awesome. Go out there and can't shoot for shit because I can't see. But I
Neither
try
can
to have
Armando.
fun.
Armando can't shoot skeet either, so you're not the only one.
I can
here.
shoot skeet. I just don't. I don't go out and do it.
I shoot at it all the time. It doesn't mean I hit it, but I shoot at it.
Armando even bought a new shotgun.
I have a brand new shotgun I haven't taken out yet. It's been a year.
What'd you get?
Benelli M2.
Oh, wow. Nice. Yeah.
All that money and it's collecting dust.
No, it's in a box. It's not collecting dust.
Oh, wow.
It's still in the box. Come on.
Hasn't been unpackaged yet.
I mean, I got cheap shit stuff. I just got a Remington 1100, 870 Wingmaster, just stupid guns that I've had for so many years that I used to use when I was a kid, Because when I was a kid at 18 years old, you could buy a shotgun,
Yeah.
You just walk in and walk out
you
with
used to
it.
be able to have stuff. Yeah, you used to be able to get stuff in California. Now you get it
Exactly.
I got my guns all disappeared in a boating accident.
Yeah.
Mine did
Gerald's
too.
old
Well,
enough. Gerald's old enough that he was able to order guns from the Sears catalog and have it delivered to his house.
There you go.
I could go to Sears and pick it up because there's a Sears right down there on what was that, Western and it's the Melrose. There's a Sears right there. But yeah, we had a good time back there in Hollywood back then.
Did you shoot many coyotes in those hills?
You're so mean. Of course. I mean, yes.
No, of course not. No, of course not. Never.
Of course
never
not.
hit a coyote.
But see, so we lived in the Hollywood Hills, and there was always coyotes and shit roaming all over the place.
Yeah.
And so when I was a kid, they would somehow just run out in front of my Baja Bug, and I'd have to, swerve and run them over.
Which coyotes are we talking about?
Swerve to run them over. Yeah.
To not run them over. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, to not run them over.
Is this the four-legged
Nah,
kind or the
run them
two-legged
over.
kind?
The 4.
All 4-legged kinds. But the worst one was when you hit a skunk.
Oh.
Because it stayed with the car for a week or two.
Yeah, that's one of the worst smells.
Oh,
Unless it's-
God, it was horrible.
Unless it's weed skunk.
Unless
then,
it's skunk weed, then it's good.
Right.
Well, I finally worked out where that term came from when I moved over here.
Exactly.
Because I used to just think I was smelling it the whole time when I was driving around at nighttime through going across the country, and I'd be like, "What the hell is that? Man, there is people out here smoking weed." I'm like,
Were you
what
with
the-
Tim Pellegrino?
No,
Sounds like it.
he might have been in front of me. He wasn't with me. I might have been getting his smoke trails.
Tim is fun. I like hanging out with that guy.
Tim's good.
Oh, I love
Good
Tim.
times.
He's so funny.
Yeah. He had busted out his little guitar for when we're at on the Rubicon.
His ukulele? Yep.
Ukulele, yeah.
Yep.
Just strumming
We've
away.
done- Yep. In Daytona, in the Rubicon. I mean, everywhere he's got that little thing and just going
Yeah.
at it. It's pretty soothing, actually. But every time
Yeah,
I
it
go
is.
out with that sucker, I lose a day. 'Cause I'll take one of his gummies, and I won't remember what happened that day. Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
right.
the last time I saw him right away, he's like, "Hey, you want to hit?" I'm like, "Yes."
So we were in Jamaica with Chris Plaisance and Tim. And
Oh,
so
boy.
we stopped at this is horrible. Well, it was actually really fun. But we stopped at one of the little cannabis dispensaries or whatever it was in Jamaica. So, we're just like, oh, yeah, maybe I should get some gummies or buy a little weed. And we're going there looking at it. And it's like, hey, want to take a dab? It's like, oh, what's that? I never did one. I'm like, okay. So it's 1 for $5 or 3 for $10. Well, we got to get 3 then. 1 for me, 2 for you, Tim. It's like, okay, so I get it. So when you get it, you hit it. Darn near killed me, right? So Tim ends up doing 2 1/3, right? And I did
yours?
2/3. Yeah, he finished mine.
That's funny.
I don't remember the rest of the day. I just know I was in the back of the Jeep driving all over Jamaica. Finally, I got some cold water on me and it was good. I think we went to the actual Blue Lagoon in Jamaica. It's the actual Blue Lagoon. And the Blue Lagoon in Jamaica is just an awesome place. So there is fresh water on the top and salt water on the bottom. So when you go in the water and you get below, you can't see shit. But if you go down another foot, it's crystal clear.
Wow.
And it's just the most beautiful lagoon that I've ever been at, you know. It was a good time in Jamaica. Some really fun times there.
Speaking of traveling, I don't know if you want to get into the story, just let me know if you don't. But I think it was, God, it must have been 7 years ago. You told me the story about taking a friend to Thailand with you. And you wanted to
took a lot of friends to Thailand with me.
You wanted to fuck with them, so you took him to a ladyboy club.
Oh, yes. The best.
And you basically said, go ahead and pick one, and it's on me.
So in Thailand, Soy Cowboy is the street where it's really the red light district, right? And there's one bar that's the 50-50 bar. But that I've known about it because my Thai friends, they don't like going there at all. They're all hanging on to me like, we got to get out of here. You know, I fucking place is really heebie-jeebies. My Thai friends, right? So, but I always take friends to this 50-50 bar. Don't tell them that it's a 50-50 bar.
Yeah.
Take them in there, right? And so, you know, there's beautiful Thai women dancing up there, and you're looking at them. It's like, wow, these girls are pretty awesome. And so they come down and talk to you and want you to buy them drinks. That's their whole game. You know, you buy them drinks and they make their commission and everything's all good in the world. So one of the guys, I mean, really attractive Thai girl he's talking to.
Girlish.
And
A lady boy.
girlish, right?
She's girlish.
So, I mean, it's a little tiny thing. It's like, okay, right? So the way that I know how to tell the difference between men and women is by looking at their hands, right? You can always tell a man's hands from a woman's hands. The women's hands are so much more petite and gentle and smaller. So he's talking to this woman or person, and I look at its hands, and I'm like, oh boy. That's a dude. So he's like, "Oh, dude, this girl's so nice," and I'm like, what another 10 or 15? Hey, dude, that's a dude. Because then I told him the story of what this place was. It's like half those girls up there are dudes. But
You don't know which
the
one.
prettiest ones are always dudes. That's the thing. Because they know how to put their makeup on a lot better. And I was like, oh my God. It was just hysterical night.
Yep.
I never asked Travis if he went, because he went to Thailand for his honeymoon.
Yes. I don't think it took Amelia there.
I don't think he took his new wife to a lady
I don't
bar
think
in
him and
Thailand.
Amelia went
I'm
down
like,
there.
yeah.
They went to
Just
some
out
cool
of, you know how
places.
Travis is a very curious person. So I just was wondering if maybe he wanted to kind of like just see it for himself type thing.
No, that's
No.
You definitely
he-
have to go to one of the shows, though. You have to definitely go to a show.
Well, depends on the show. If it's like a donkey show in TJ, that's a whole different thing.
They have a
pretty
ping
cool
pong
shows.
show.
That's
can
the one you gotta take
just
him to.
Think about how that works.
Yes.
I've heard about
ping
those.
pong.
Goldfish.
and
Ping
there's
pong,
no
goldfish,
paddles.
Yeah, there's no return
No,
serves.
you have the paddles. They don't have paddles.
Yeah, goldfish shows. What else was there? Lost your keys.
There's one question I wanted to ask you, and this is because, of course, the election is next week. I keep having the feeling that California is going to turn purple this year.
Not a chance.
What's your feeling? You don't think so?
Not a chance. There's too many fucking
It's still
here.
they're still very, very blue, or is it just?
Well, no. The problem with California is that the bulk of the people live on the coastline, and all those people are dipshits, and they're all blue. And the amount of people that live outside of that is red. So there is a significant amount of red in California. The
Just
problem
enough
is
people.
that
Yeah.
there's too much of the blue shit to fuck it all up.
20% of California is 20 of the land properties is blue. 80% of it is red, but the 20% that is blue contains 80 million people.
Yeah, it has
we're never
100,000
you're
times more
never gonna
people.
be- Yeah, you're never gonna get the state to be purple. I mean, as much as we'd love to see it, because I love California, I just don't like the politics and don't love all the libtards. It is what it is. It's sad.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you saw
Yeah,
it
just-
today.
And like all my friends, like you guys, fucking move from California, take all the red votes away,
We're the
Fuckers.
smart ones. We got the fuck out of there.
right?
Yeah,
I know,
Like,
I get
it's
it.
Done.
Yes.
What were we gonna say, Chris?
So you saw what Biden said about Trump and the Trump supporters?
Yeah.
Oh, we're garbage. We're
Did
totally
you-
garbage.
But did you see what Trump did today,
They-
though?
Yeah. He rolls up
Yeah,
a
that
dump truck.
that trash truck with,
Yep.
with the face on it.
So for the first 4 years, he was draining the swamp, and now for the next 4 years, he's taking out the trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, it's fucking awesome.
They keep providing them with great material.
Yes.
It's awesome.
They're doing it. They're doing it
So
for
one
him.
thing, one thing I heard today was that Gavin Newsom signed a new $840 million deal to help the homeless. This is on top of, I guess, 10 years ago or something, he signed a similar deal to help the homeless, and the situation just got worse.
How?
So all that money goes into pork programs, his pork programs.
Mhm.
That's enriching himself and his family.
Correct. 'Cause
That's
if you-
that's all that money's going.
You have to look at the
It
price.
doesn't help it won't even put a dent in the homeless problem here,
No.
but it's going to
No.
make the families and friends rich.
Yeah.
That's how how California politics are. I mean, the
Yeah.
Pelosi's, the Browns, and the Newsoms, they're all related.
Yeah.
Oh, they
You
are
know, and it's not going to change.
married to cousins
the
of
old-
this cousin of that cousin, and they're all
Yeah.
Right.
intertwined.
Yeah. Yep.
Was it Jerry Brown is the dad, or was that who's
Uncle
the
or
dad?
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
something
No,
like that.
who was the first one? He was the first Brown that was governor. I can't remember his
Jerry
name.
Brown's father.
Yes.
Yeah, but he was a Republican.
So from what I remember hearing is that he was the one that initiated rerouting of the aqueduct.
Really?
Do you remember any of this? Yeah. Do you remember any of that?
I don't.
He rerouted all of the water going from the farmlands to L.A.
Out into the ocean.
Interesting.
No, to L.A. So to give water to the city.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But at one point there was a humongous lake
Yes.
in California.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
You watched the Joe Rogan show,
And-
didn't
and
you?
The Central
it
Valley.
pretty much drained. Yeah.
Yes, it's dry. Well, it's got a little water in there now, but it's been dry for so many years.
Well, they drained it.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I just don't know how true that was, that he was the one that orchestrated that, or if it was, there was a Brown that was associated with that. I don't know if it was him or not.
No.
So I was just wondering if you
Yeah,
had any
I don't
more
know either.
information, if you remembered. Since you're obviously older than us and you might have.
Thanks.
It's all right, Armando. You missed it.
Hey,
'cause,
it's all right. I'm usually the old guy, so it's nice when I get to hang out with Gerald. I guess someone a little older than me.
Yeah. You guys can talk about the toys that you used to play with as kids.
Black and white TV and shit.
Yeah.
And our
Remember that one episode
7
of-
channels.
Yeah. Remember that episode of Dragnet that one time?
That was one of my favorite shows. God.
That was a good show. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good show.
Hey, I've got some news.
What's that?
I've just started my become a US citizen form.
Nice.
Congratulations.
It's taken
Congratulations, man.
6
What
years.
took you so long?
Well, you got to wait. Yeah, you got to qualify.
See, you do it right. You're in line. You're going in through it. 10 million people have not gone through it.
No,
You know.
Right.
no, well, there's more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, there is more than that.
Yeah,
But I know my father would be. He's turning in his grave right now. You know?
yeah. Well, I thought
They
about
had to go through
going
ancient-
back and coming back across because it's easier and I get more money in my pocket. Like I want my
I'm gonna
$30,000
declare I'm an
back.
illegal.
Yeah, I want my $30,000 back that I spent to do it properly, so I get free health care.
Exactly.
I get a credit card that always gets topped up at the end of the month. I'm good.
Get a new phone, and you
new
get
phone,
housing.
Hotel, get in a hotel, live in New York. Maid comes, cleans my room. Man,
That's a vacation right there.
just gonna have somewhere to park my
Right?
Jeep.
Yeah.
I'll park that in the foyer. I'm sure. What are they gonna do? They're not gonna lock me up. I'm an immigrant. I'm gonna vote Democrat, so they don't want to piss me off.
That's the one thing I don't understand why they keep bringing up. They're saying that Trump orchestrated the demise of the border bill that just was a couple months back.
It's just
Well,
There's a,
their bill.
they didn't need it because if they just
No.
enforced the laws
Lo-
already there,
Exactly. They
They don't
want
need
that
it.
bill passed because it has a bunch of pork programs in
yes.
right?
It
Money
has
for-
all this. It has all the side shit. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Is
it. Yeah, the Ukraine
the-
funding,
Mhm.
that all that
Yeah.
kind of crap.
Yep.
But every bill does this. It's like, okay, well, then they say, oh, the Republicans veto it. Well, look at all the shit that was behind it. Yeah, you say
Yeah,
it was this,
exactly.
but there was all this other
There's
shit behind
$60
it.
million to
Like-
send overseas.
Yeah, no, it's a fucking
Yeah.
Trojan horse. It's
Yeah.
just, oh, it's a pretty horse. Oh, wait, look at all the shit inside of it.
Yep.
No. Done.
That's why you always have to be careful and watch who the Republicans are voting for it.
Yes, because they're getting the
Those are the
handout.
rhinos.
Yep.
Yeah, they're starting to get rid of. There's only a couple rhinos left that need to go
Yeah. Well,
because
we've
8
outed
of them have already
Cheney.
been. Yeah, Cheney's gone. There's 2
Yeah,
more
Romney
left.
needs to go.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they get rid of Romney this time around.
Yeah, I think Romney is pretty much done, right? I mean,
People still like
Let's
him in
hope so.
Utah.
yeah.
They can't get rid of him in Utah. They've tried. He's lasted
Lit-
once more. I don't know.
Liz Cheney's pretty much done.
Yeah, she's done. She's nobody now.
finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Gerald, this has been fun, man. I always love talking to you. I wish we could have done it with some alcohol
We-
this time, but
Well,
the best-
we're gonna
the
have
best
to
thing
get
is-
together pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, the best thing is you can't talk to Gerald on the trail because we don't.
No.
He doesn't stand around long enough to talk. It's just like, are we going? Let's go. What are you standing around for? Let's go. And by the time you turn around, Gerald's gone.
the very first time that I wheeled with Gerald, we were it was in Moab. We were in the McDonald's parking lot. We're all just kind of like waiting for people to get there.
Meandering.
Gerald pulls up. All right, let's go. And he just drove through the parking lot and
He
just kept
didn't.
going.
He didn't stop. It was Pritchett at 6:30 meet.
Yep.
It was 6:29. He pulls through. No stopping. Let's fucking go. I'm like, okay.
Yep. All the time.
Well,
But it also
So-
was the second year. Actually, it was the year after that we had it was like 72 rigs on the same trail. That 1 year it was the year after that. So
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
yeah.
No, so when I grew up wheeling a lot with Walker Evans, Doug McBurney, John Curry, we would start at 7 a.m. and we would go back to fucking Moab, get lunch, go back out until it gets dark again. Every day we wheeled in Moab. I mean, and we wheeled some trails that were, I mean, unbelievable compared to what there is now. But that was all on our buggies. And so that's how I learned how to wheel. It's like, old Walker Evans, that dude, he was nonstop, And
I just told everybody Gerald doesn't want to talk to anyone. It's just, that guy's
we don't
rude.
have
He
time.
doesn't want to talk to anybody. He's just gone.
No, we sit and talk when we get to the ice cream place.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, even
we get
then.
ice cream. I'll fucking talk to you all day.
Once the trail's done and we're back at the ice cream shack, fucking we can talk all night.
That's right.
And then
exactly.
there's JP with just a soda because he's lactose intolerant.
Yes.
He can't have ice cream.
Yes.
He just
That is
has
a
to
good
take
spot.
the pills. If he took the pills, he'd be fine.
That's good.
Him and
Such a good spot.
his what's it called? Screwball.
Yeah. Peanut butter.
Oh, yeah.
Screwball.
Yeah, that's a dangerous combination for him.
Oh God.
He's had enough when he just won't stop smiling.
Oh, that's me too.
Yeah, my eyes just get shut.
Oh, you turn Asian?
Pretty much. But I have.
He
but
doesn't turn red.
Yeah.
Well, that's Japanese. That's
The
different.
Japanese turn
Those damn
Japanese
Japs,
turn
they
red.
turn red all the time.
But like you saw in Georgia, when I drink, I guzzle it down. I don't sip on whiskey. It's just full on
Gulp.
drinks, gulps.
Get fucked
you've got a
up.
lot
I'm
of-
right with you.
You got a lot of body mass to fill up there, Gabe.
Well, yeah.
So if I'm sitting
called you
beside
fat.
you, I have to sip it,
I know.
and then you just have
called
to
you
knock it
fat.
back.
Fix for that.
I didn't say you was
It's
fat.
called
He's just
Ozempic.
big bone.
You'll lose your 20 pounds in a month.
And Gabe's pretty much, he drinks all the time, so he just becomes null to it.
I've got to stop or slow down.
Like I go
It's
up
not-
there and I've had two drinks with him, and I'm just already like, woo, this is all right. What's going on over here?
Yeah, Armando's coming to Tennessee next month, and I'm kind of like already cringing at the fact that we're going to meet at the distillery near my house.
Next
Hey,
month.
hey.
I'm coming next Thursday.
Hey, where's my invite?
That's next month.
That's like a week. Yeah, it's next month, but it's in a week.
Where was my invitation?
What distillery are you going to?
It's in the chat, Chris.
Oh, was it? I must
But
didn't see
it's
it.
it's nearest green.
Yeah, you're not coming over. You're not coming up. Come on.
No. Is it drink?
He's met me there before.
Is it work days?
No, on Saturday.
Oh, see
Next
you there,
Saturday.
bitch. Oh, next Saturday.
All right.
Yeah, I can make next Saturday.
Here comes the excuse.
No.
Saturday the 9th.
I'm there. Done.
Yeah,
What are we doing?
fly in. We fly in.
Oh, you coming, Gerald?
Kim and I are going to Nashville. Kim's never been to Nashville, so we're going to Nashville.
Oh, you guys have so much
we
fun.
fly in. We fly in Thursday afternoon. I think we're going to do performance at the Opry Thursday night, and then hang around downtown and kind of let her see around Nashville sites Friday. Then
The
Saturday
Opry's
drive
not
down
close to Nashville.
Shelbyville. Is that?
It's
The
close
Opry
enough.
is not
Close
close to
enough.
Nashville.
Like 5-6 miles
It's
away.
like,
Yeah.
no,
That's
it's
not
way farther than 5. It's like
No,
30 minutes
it's-
away.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's not that far.
When was the last time you were
it's
there?
just down-
It's like it's like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I've driven
Yeah.
by it a
Yeah.
number
by
of
the
times.
airport.
It's up by the airport.
Yeah.
So we're staying by the
God, it took
airport.
I guess I was so
I'm not
drunk
staying
I just got
downtown.
on that bus and I don't know how long it was.
Well, if you're on the bus, yes.
Yeah,
It's
if
a
you're on the
tourist
bus, it
bus.
took that long. Of course. Yeah.
That guy, he doesn't
I
want to
love
kick you
Nashville.
off.
Nashville is so much fun. Nashville is
Yeah,
so
so we'll
much
do
fun.
that. Saturday, I think Saturday we'll do distilleries. Saturday and Sunday distilleries, and then Sunday afternoon head to Chattanooga. Sunday night we're staying in the Choo Choo in the car,
Nice.
in the Cushman car, the Chattanooga Choo Choo, and then see some Chattanooga shit. Come back to Nashville and head home Tuesday.
You definitely
Oh,
have
wow,
to see
that's gonna be
Nashville at a night time, like Broadway.
You gotta
at
go
night.
at night.
Yeah,
Broadway at
that's what
night,
it like that's what I was thinking. Like Thursday night would do it, but then we found there was a performance Thursday night at the Opry that
Yeah.
was
Friday
better.
nights and
You
Saturday
get-
nights, you cannot move.
Saturday just be crazy, but
Yeah.
They blocked the street off.
It's
and
crazy on a
insane.
weekend.
Yeah.
yeah. But we'll be back there Monday night would drive back into Nashville and whatever.
If you
I'm
go
thinking
Friday,
maybe
Saturday, you have to go early.
Yeah. So.
See, that's one place I can't be drunk is with a lot of people because.
Oh, it wigs me out.
Yeah. Well,
It's
not only
the
that,
noise.
but I might just let my fist fly. I'm that kind of drunk person.
Oh, Gabe's an angry drunk.
You're not an angry drunk.
No, but if someone keeps bumping into me or
you'd be
just
pump-
I'm
You'd
annoyed,
be punching on with everybody because you'd bump
Yeah.
into everybody. There's
Yeah.
so many people.
Yeah.
To me,
There's bumper cars there.
yeah. So when I went
I'm better with
yeah.
smaller crowds.
when I went to New York, I was expecting the sidewalks to be full of people, but I went with COVID. It's when COVID just came out at the end of it, when everything was starting to open up, and I was just like, man, where's all the people? Broadway on a Saturday night is New York sidewalks every day of the week. Like, it is that many people there. I can't believe how many people is in one spot. It's insane.
So I'll tell you a quick story about me and my inability to be around a lot of people when I'm fucked up. So I used to DJ in Las Vegas. I had a residency a long fucking time ago, and I had dropped some acid, and I saw it, and it hit me like that. And there was a cop, and I was like, oh fuck, he knows I'm fucked up. Oh fuck. So I just sat on the sidewalk, Indian style, just oh fuck. And he's looking at me like, motherfucker, go back to your room. Like he knew.
You just blended in with everybody else.
Yeah.
Oh God. Good
I don't know
times.
if I can do that again. I can't do Vegas more than 2 days in a row.
No, everyone keeps saying that you come into SEMA. I don't think I'll ever go back to SEMA. I've had enough of Vegas. The only
I
time
go
I'd
to SEMA just so I can
just
go
to drink.
eat.
That's exactly right. Just to eat.
Mhm.
Eat
Like
and
that-
drink. That's all I go for.
Well, yeah, I can go to Vegas on any Monday.
Yeah. But that place you took us to that time,
$30
Gerald,
rooms.
that Asian place we went and ate that night.
Oh, God, that was okay. I got some really cool ones now.
Oh God, you always find the best.
Did he
spots
put
to go and
ketchup
eat.
on his food, Gerald?
Did you put ketchup on his sushi?
No, you don't. That's Asian food. I was brought up on Asian food. That's all good. Mexican?
I'm just
No.
checking.
They know how to spice and cook their food.
Yeah.
It's okay.
They can add taste to their food. Mexicans?
As long as there's no dog, I'm fine.
Brown sauce. Just have the brown,
Brown sauce
right?
and broccoli, don't eat it. Don't
That
eat it.
Haitian Asian fusion mix food.
Yes.
Well, no. So I'm in China with a bunch of people, and we go to the restaurant, a really nice restaurant. I mean, super nice restaurant. You get there, and there's tables for like 20 people, big round table, big giant lazy Susan. So they're feeding you like, Peking duck, roast pork, tenderloin steak, and then this one comes out, it's
Looks like a
brown
dog.
gravy with a big giant flour bowl of broccoli. I'm like, oh, wow, so what's that? I go, what's that? Oh, that's wild boar. It's like, oh, okay. So first piece I get is a jawbone. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what kind of teeth pigs have, but whatever, okay. I'm not going to eat jawbone, right?
But they have
Next
canine
point-
teeth.
The next piece is a paw. And I'm like, pig, bovine, hoofs, paw. What the fuck is this? A wild
It's a
boar.
chihuahua.
No, wild boar. I'm going to show them the wild boar have hooves. This is a paw. And it's like, oh, well, maybe it's something else. They kind of ignored me after that. I'm like, you fuckers, I'm not eating this shit anymore.
Obviously, they took you somewhere where you took your mate with a 50-50.
Right.
It's like,
Right? Exactly.
We'll
They're
get
getting
Gerald.
even.
Yeah, we'll get Gerald.
Yeah, they got even. But I didn't eat the friggin' dog. I mean, I love my dogs. I wouldn't eat a fucking dog.
Yeah, no.
But, well, I can't say that. If I was hungry, I'm going to eat the fucking dog.
So
That's how it comes down.
my dad married a Chinese woman. She's like straight from, she was from China. He met her online,
Mail order.
and
You can say that.
and
guys.
she had to
Did
get
she
a
get
green
mail
card and
ordered?
everything. Almost, pretty much. So she had to get a green card before she came to America, obviously. And there was one Christmas where we met, and she was like, "Do you guys want to try Chinese food?" I'm like, "I've had Chinese food." My dad's like, No. This is like authentic, real Chinese food that you would have in China." And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, if you're setting it up like that, I don't know if I want it. So I tried it, and we get there, and I think I only had the noodles and the chicken, because everything else I could not recognize.
No pig's
There was a
ear,
Yeah,
chicken livers and
it
knuckles.
was a lot of different fish and different
Yeah,
things I just did not recognize and didn't smell that pleasant. So I was like, no, I'll stick with the noodles and the chicken for now. So
Yeah, no. Gerald does
Pretty
find the
smart
good
move.
spots to eat, though. So with all the years we've been going to Smoky Mountain and trying to get into the goat for dinner every night, the last Smoky Mountain, Gerald's like, "Hey, let's try this place in Sevierville.
Appalachian was fucking awesome.
Never heard of the place before. We
That
just
place was awesome.
drive up and just walk straight into best steak I've ever had."
Yeah, that place was friggin' awesome. And then I found the best ice cream in the entire world in Gatlinburg.
Where?
It's called Cruise Farms, Cruze. They have the most creamiest, butteriest ice cream I've ever had in my entire life.
Was it busy?
Oh, so you're gonna have to. Well, I'm gonna be going there like every day next year. Because it's
is
right
it a kind of
across-
place
well,
that they make? Do they make
it's a
their own
soft
waffle
serve.
cones and all that?
Yes. So it's a
Oh, yeah.
soft service kind of type of thing, but firm, but it's freshly made,
Is it on the strip?
and it's across the street from Joe's Crab Shack on the main strip there.
Yeah.
But the one I actually found it was in Knoxville. We were staying downtown before our trip home, and we was like walking around downtown Knoxville. It's a very, very cool area in Knoxville down there.
Knoxville's nice.
And we came upon it's like, oh, let's look. It's a cool looking like Ruby's Diner-ish, hip hop little place. And went in there. And it's like, I tried this ice cream, and I'm like, this is the best fucking ice cream I've ever had in my entire life. And nothing else compares to that. So you guys got to try that when you're over there. I know there's a Knoxville, and they're in Gatlinburg over there. There's a few locations. But it's
It sounds
Cruise Farms.
familiar. I think I've seen the name before.
Yeah, it's red and white buildings, and so I'm sending Chambliss some bulgogi from here, right? Because when
For the
we
H
were
Mart?
on I want to go buy him a couple containers of some bulgogi and maybe some cow meat and send it to him. He's sending me back ice cream.
That's a valid trade.
Oh,
sure.
absolutely is.
Yeah. Nice.
All right, I think we'll end it here on a happy
Thanks,
note
gentlemen.
with food and
Ice
ice cream and bulgogi.
I'm gonna go cook dinner right now. All you fuckers are making me wait for dinner.
You can thank Armando for that.
Yeah.
Fucking Marmondo, Jesus Christ. Because he sent me a text that says, we're going to start about 5 p.m. I said, oh, perfect. I'll do my show, and then I'll go make dinner. And then I text him and says, oh, no, it's 6 p.m. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
He gets his time zones mixed up.
I do that plus I have a commute now, so that's kind of
Yeah.
Why wasn't I here
Armando's
last
actually
week?
working again for a change.
yeah,
Yay!
something like that.
Like having to leave the house.
yeah,
Yes, put
I leave
pants
the
on
house
now.
every morning. And I
So
will
now-
continue to leave the house every
Now
morning.
it's just Gabe stuck at
I
home.
do. I drive to this. I used to drive to the store, get myself a couple rock stars, come back, start the day. Like that was my commute. The 5-minute commute there, get out, grab a couple things, come back. So it was like a 10-minute commute, perfect for me. But
That's
no
awesome.
longer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need a lounge room job.
No, but, I've always made sure that I go to work. I'm retired now, but I always have to leave the house, and so I can start to I start today 6:30 this morning, go out there and work on my cars or work on whatever I want to work on. But I do it at the shop, so it always keeps me busy because if you go stagnant, you're gonna die.
Yes.
And that's kind of how it is now.
Yep.
You know, so keep busy.
That's it.
Yep.
All right, boys.
All right, guys. Gerald, thanks
guys.
for coming on. It's been fun.
Thanks, Jake.
Pleasure. My pleasure.
We'll do it again.
Yes, we will.
Yep. Talk to you guys soon.
All right, guys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See you, everyone.